Welcome, MechWarrior. You're accessing beginner-level training manuals for the Highlander HGN-733 provided by Ronin Fox Armored Security. I'll be your instructor, Fox. This tactical debriefing will explain the specifications, strengths and weaknesses of the Highlander 733, as well as how to refit and operate your own in the field. Because this is the beginner level, some restrictions will apply, including no lost tech, no upgrades, no mods, basic equipment only. DLC will be allowed. Let us begin. Hollis Incorporated's Highlander HGN-733. Weight class, Assault. Role, Juggernaut. Availability, Rare. Threat level, Moderate. Description. The Highlander is a venerable mech that was iconic to the Star League Defense Force. Designed as an urban defense mech, the Highlander features all-range weapons as well as jump jets, which were unusual for such a large mech. They would allow the Highlander to navigate the complex terrain of a city. Ultimately, the Highlander became popular outside of city combat and was regularly attached to fire support lances, but its most iconic feature would become the jump jet attack, where MechWarriors would leap on top of enemies, crushing them with the Highlander's weight. The tactic would become so popular that the Highlander would be re-engineered with reinforced leg armor, and the strategy would become known as the Highlander Burial, as smaller mechs would be crushed underground by the impact. Unfortunately, the Highlander's factories would be destroyed in the Succession Wars, almost making it an extinct mech. The Capellan-controlled Hollis Incorporated would, however, enter an agreement with Starcore Industries in order to keep the Highlander alive. In addition to this, the Draconis Combine would mysteriously field large quantities of the rare Highlander in 3039. Where they obtained these mechs is not entirely known, however, suspicion was leveled at Comstar. Today, those searching for a Highlander will most likely find them amongst the Capellan Confederation and the Draconis Combine. Specifications. Maximum weight, 90 tons. Minimum weight, 29.5 tons. This means 60.5 tons are available for customization. Top speeds, 48.6 kilometers forward, 32 kilometers reverse, standard engine. This could be seen as average speed for an assault mech. Armor. Stock armor is 560 units, which is 17.5 tons of standard armor. Maximum possible armor is 570 units, which is 17.81 tons of armor. This could be seen as maximally armored for a 90-ton mech. Weapons. 1 AC-10 right arm with 2 tons of AC-10 ammo, which is 80 rounds, right torso. 1 LRM-20 left torso with 3 tons of LRM ammo, which is 1,320 missiles or 66 volleys, left torso. 1 SRM-6 left arm with 2 tons of SRM ammo, which is 640 missiles or 106.6 volleys, left torso. 2 medium lasers, right torso. Melee capabilities include 1 assault hand actuator rated at 25 damage, left arm, and 1 assault lower arm rated at 12.5 damage, right arm. The mech also includes 3 Class 1 jump jets and 3 additional heat sinks. Strengths and weaknesses. The Highlander is a Juggernaut mech, which are heavily armored line breakers. In this role, its performance is adequate. These are its strengths. Extreme armor. The Highlander is very tough with virtually maximum armor. Flexible weaponry. The Highlander can respond to threats at any range, including with indirect fire. Vast tonnage. The Highlander can equip massive weaponry with little concern for ammunition or heat. The mech does have weaknesses. Slow. The Highlander must commit to its objectives as it cannot flexibly reroute. It will also take massive damage if caught in the open. Complex weapons. The Highlander's flexibility comes at the cost of requiring more skill to use all of its weapons simultaneously. Ammo explosion risk. The Highlander's torso ammo is a weak point, especially if it is ambushed. Rigid design. Despite its available tonnage being significant, there may be few decisions available in its refits. Recustomization. Ronin Fox Armored Security recommends the following refit for a beginner-level MechWarrior. It will simplify the mech's weapons, prioritizing ease of use. Starting with a stripped mech, add 1 AC-5 with 3 tons of AC-5 ammo, which is 240 rounds. Add an LRM-20 and an LRM-10 with 4 tons of LRM ammo, which is 1,760 missiles or 58.6 volleys. Add 2 medium lasers. Add an assault knuckle and assault hammer fist. Max the armor and add 7 heat sinks, which will take the mech over its maximum tonnage limit. Bring it into compliance by tuning the armor. Set the head armor to 24 and the leg armor to 74 each. Set all rear armor to 10 and move the rest forward. This refit doubles down on the Highlander's fire support capabilities, making it easier to wield all of its weapons at once. It will be at its deadliest at 400 meters, where all weapons can be fired simultaneously. Consider bringing brawler mechs as part of its lance in order to bring more close combat options without compromising the lance's fire support. BattleRom Debriefing. Now that the Highlander has been refitted, it's time to see how to operate it in the field. These will be the mission conditions. Mission type, battlefield. Difficulty, 87. Maximum drop weight, 360 tons. Allies include 2 Stalkers, STK-3F, and 1 Longbow, LGB-7Q, all in stock configuration. Pilot skill, elite. If you own a BattlePod training simulator, check Document 1 in the video's description for an instant action code allowing you to recreate this battle for training purposes. Welcome to Vega, MechWarrior. It is 3039 and a large-scale FedCom invasion of the Draconis Combine is underway. Raiju, one of Ronin Fox's heaviest fire support lances, is sent to provide supplemental fire for the 5th Amphibian Light Assault Group. You'll be seeing the perspective of its leader, Raiju 1. The battle begins as a Centurion and Panther probe Raiju's position. The general lack of cover forces enemies into the open, where Raiju's tremendous combined LRM support pummels enemies as they approach. The hail of LRMs grinds the Centurion down, and Raiju turns its attention to the Panther, which was now in close combat. Raiju 2 and 3's Stalkers are equipped with more aggressive close-range weapons, and they bring the Panther down without an issue. A Cyclops and Highlander are combat dropped in. Raiju 1 commences a very long-range bombardment as his mech is equipped with plenty of munitions. Arriving into radar range first, Raiju focuses on the much faster Cyclops. It is hopelessly battered in the open by ceaseless LRMs, while the mech's AC-5 is aimed at the Cyclops' center torso. It falls just outside of close range, never able to use its weapons fully, and the Highlander becomes the target now. This 733C Highlander is regrettably armed with an AC-20, and it suffers extreme damage before even approaching close range. The Highlander also falls, firing only 2 shells of its AC-20, which both missed the mark. A Champion and Zeus arrive from the rear, hot dropped in by a Leopard. The Champion's high speed and light armor made it the logical first target. LRMs crash onto the mech's thin armor, compromising the Champion's torso in only a few combined volleys. The Zeus is then isolated, and Raiju Lance is still in good condition. They combine their bombardment, focusing fire on the Zeus, overwhelming it with a barrage of munitions, shredding through the Zeus's armor. A medium lance then redirects to launch an assault on Raiju, bringing a Cicada, Hatchetman, Phoenix Hawk, and Jenner all attacking at varying directions. Despite its great speed, the Cicada cannot evade enough LRMs and is ripped apart by the barrage. The slow and vulnerable Hatchetman is next, destroyed in merely 2 combined volleys. The Phoenix Hawk then makes it into close combat, but Raiju Lance has enough supplemental close combat weapons to handle the periodic short-range threat, disabling the Phoenix Hawk's arms and forcing the pilot to eject. Then the Jenner flanks from the rear, but without its lance, fails to coordinate meaningful harassment. Reaching the limit of their agreed-upon contract, Raiju Lance stands its ground as a FedCom Atlas and Banshee attempt to break through. Despite its 100-ton size, the Atlas's massive bulk works against it as it has no ability to evade the bombardment. A limitless stream of LRMs pummel the Atlas in the open, while Raiju 1's AC-5 is aimed at the center torso. The mighty Atlas falls outside of short range, unable to ever fully capitalize on its weaponry. Now only the Banshee remains and receives similar treatment as a torrent of LRMs are hurled over a hill, brutalizing the Banshee before it can use its close-range combat weapons. Raiju Lance begins their extraction, beginning to run low on ammunition, but are intercepted by a Centurion, Blackjack, and Phoenix Hawk. Raiju 1 orders a breakthrough to the extraction point, firing on the move. The Centurion receives focused bombardment and is flattened in moments. The Blackjack then begins its interception, and Raiju responds with a counter-bombardment. Raiju's stalkers sear the Blackjack with their large lasers, and the mech falls as Raiju 1 empties the last of his LRMs on it. Now out of missiles, Raiju 1 orders the Lance to push past the Phoenix Hawk to extraction. Without its Lance, the Phoenix Hawk's weapons are limited against Raiju, whose Lance is still in good condition. Returning home and destroying more mechs than they were assigned, Raiju reports minimal damage. The refitted Highlander was able to defeat many enemies at a distance before they could use their deadliest weapons on the Lance. This concludes the tactical debriefing for the Highlander HGN-733. You now have a further understanding of the mech's specifications, strengths and weaknesses, as well as how to refit and operate your own in the field. Thank you for choosing Ronin Fox Armored Security for all your training needs. And there you go, Mech Warriors, the Highlander video. I hope I did the mech some justice, and as usual, my final thoughts out of character. Now, I'm not gonna cap, I thought this video was gonna be kinda rough and that the Highlander was going to underperform, but to my surprise, the sniper build Highlander actually did extremely well and definitely outperformed my expectations of it. Overall, I don't think the Highlander is an insanely good mech, but that doesn't mean I think it's a bad mech. I think it's right in the middle. A perfectly valid rank and file mech with no real outstanding strengths or weaknesses, meaning it's great for AI use, not gonna lie. So I would say pick up a Highlander 733 if you think it looks good, because you can definitely make it effective. Or if you need grunt AI mechs, pick up a Highlander 733 for some AI fire support. Anyways, that's my review. Back to the light mechs next. Don't forget to show the Fox some love, though, and help Ronin Fox grow. A comment, a like, a sub, and a share are the bedrock of any YouTube channel's growth, and they don't cost a thing. Till next time, though, Mech Warriors, thanks for being real, and I'll see you next time. So, deuces, everyone, and remember that you don't have to be good to get good.